Hey, this is Matt with State of Flux here with a review for Shelby Oaks. I was really curious about this movie. I've been a follower of Chris Stuckmann for quite some time, and he's shown us glimpses in the past of short films he'd done. And so when he announced that he was going to do a feature, I got really excited about it. And that's kind of where I tapped out. I didn't follow any further beyond that because I didn't want to know or have anything spoiled. Sometimes internet personalities and whatnot not tend to like overindulge their audience. Think Kevin Smith with his like last 4 or 5 movies. So I was kind of afraid he was going to do that. So I didn't see anything for this movie up until this very day upon watching Shelby Oaks. And I'd known basically it was a horror movie and it was found footage or in part found footage, and that was kind of all that I'd heard. And I think going into it, that is the best case for you as well. Try not to know what's going on, because what Stuckmann does with this film is develop a really fascinating mystery. But kind of with all mysteries, there is a problem, which is if you don't find that mystery's conclusion satisfying, it kind of tanks the rest of your film. Now, what I'm going to say here is that with this film, mileage may vary, but for the good side of things, I think that Chris Stuckmann shows the audience that he is a very talented filmmaker. I foresee him having a strong directorial career. He is really, really good with lighting, with the whole visual language, the movement of the camera, and the way that he allows the story to unfold. Well, the areas that he may need improvement on are more from the writing side of things. And that kind of goes towards the way he uses film criticism as well. He's not necessarily the most concise critic out there. When he was doing full-blown critiques of things, they tended to be a little bit messy here and there, and he didn't have like a strong narrative drive, and I think that kind of carries over into how he presents his story in this film. Now, I'm going to do a non-spoiler review up until I offer super minor spoilers at the very end that I don't even know if they're spoilers, if I'm being quite frank, because I don't know how this film was advertised. But for the good, as I say, Chris Stuckmann really, really directs the hell out of this. This is one of the best looking movies of the year, and I think it's certainly the best looking horror movie of the year, which is kind of saying something. We've had some good ones. But he really is able to pull performance from his actors as well. The performances in this are really convincing, especially from the lead characters. The first act of the film, I was convinced I was watching one of the best movies of the year. But then that whole mileage may vary thing comes into play, where it pivots from being one sort of style or genre of film. The first act feels very much like a stronger version of the Poughkeepsie tapes, to then being a different genre of horror, and that's where I'm not gonna like explain that until the very, very end of the review, where I'll have a clear indicator of that. But the middle act of the movie started to lose me a bit because I could see the genre that we were about to lean into. And once they went full force for that genre, it's my least favorite style of horror. Now, it was very reminiscent to me of another horror film of the past 10 years that has a tremendous following that people absolutely love and was even talked about at one point for award consideration for its lead female star. Not all that dissimilar from this movie, where I think she could also earn herself a nomination if the people embrace and support horror, which traditionally they don't, but I think it's a performance worthy of that. But just like that other film, it carries a genre that I just don't have any interest in. It's not anything I've ever found scary. ever, and it just started to really lose me. And because of that, the final act really just didn't work for me at all. And as I said, that might be just a me thing, but what I don't think is a me thing is the final scene where it was such a big, like, groaner of an ending. Like, I literally rolled my eyes, and I'm fairly certain you could have heard it over the thundering score, which is actually a really good score, by the way. But that last scene, man, it didn't work at all. And so I'm really kind of torn with this one, because the talent on display here is very incredibly evident, but the film is also written kind of in a way that is to develop a mystery, the ultimate resolution for which really didn't land for me, and I think most of its issues are in its writing, which is unfortunate, because I think there's so much good. I hate to not recommend this, so I am going to give it a soft recommendation, especially since a lot of people out there do find more horror from this style of horror than I personally do. And if you are a fan of one very specific movie, then I think you'll maybe be on board with it a little bit more. There endeth the review portion. I'm going to continue talking hereafter with spoilers, but I'll just offer my star rating. I give it 2.5 out of 4 stars. It's like a middle of the road movie. I'm glad I saw it. I hate that I'm only giving it that, because Stuckmann really directs the hell out of this thing, and I think people should see that and embrace it, because I want to see what this man has to offer in the future. And I am a horror guy, so I got really excited when his first movie, I thought it would be like some sort of soft adventure films. He consistently showed on his channel, like the Indiana Jones sort of knockoffs or parodies that he did. And send-ups, not really parodies. So I thought he was going to go something a little more like that, and when he announced it was going to be full-blown horror, I got excited. It's my favorite genre. So to just then be my least favorite genre, with a subgenre within the horror genre, was a pretty mellowing experience for me. But if you saw this film, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Moving forward from here on out is going to be spoiler territory. The spoilers come in 3, 2, 1. You do find out in this that it is a supernatural villain that's demonic possession kind of thing, or a demon that's latched onto you. It's an incubus or whatever. And that started to lose me. That and cult shit just really don't work for me. It doesn't play. I don't think I've ever seen one where I've been like full force, let's go, this is what I enjoy. Shy of like Rosemary's Baby. And even that, and like The Omen and stuff like that, are a little like soft recommendations. I like the allegories at play surrounding that style of horror more than I find that horror effective or scary. And this seemed to lack the allegories at play, so once it was just really, this is all the movie had to offer, the film started to really fall apart for me, particularly in that last act. And the film that it reminded me most of is Hereditary. It very much has that, like, kind of, this is predestiny, and this thing has been manipulating the whole time energy that I just really got turned off by. I know a lot of people love Hereditary, and if you're one of them, more power to you. I do agree that it has performances in it worthy of awards, just like I think this film has a performance in it worthy of an award. And both films are directed phenomenally. I agree. But both films fall apart in the writing for me. I found Hereditary to be far more problematic than this film. That movie had issues that, and maybe I'll cover that on my channel at some point, because I don't know that I ever have issues that I really took umbrage with, that I found just minutely offensive. and kind of ableist. Whereas this film doesn't really have that, it just has this one kind of component going for it, and the whole film goes all in on that, and if you're either embrace that or if you're turned off by it, as I am, the movie starts to unravel. Which is too bad, because Stuckmann's greatest strength as a director is tightening that spool of tension, and he was doing that so effectively in that first documentary segment of the film, as well as like for the first 20 to 25 minutes after that, that once the reveal of the Incubus happens, the whole thing just started unspooling for me. It just, the tension seeped away and it just stopped working. But let me know what you thought of this film in the comment area down below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all this good stuff. Peace.